The little girl's lips were blue. I saw her through the diner window, sitting alone in a booth. Her father stood outside by a broken-down bike, cursing into his phone. The wind cut through the parking lot like a blade. I kept my head down. People don't like my type in places like this. Leather patches, scarred knuckles. They see the vest and assume the worst. The waitress refilled my coffee without looking at me. The man outside slammed his phone into his pocket. He paced near the bike, arms crossed tight against his chest. No jacket, just a thin hoodie. The little girl watched him through the glass, her breath fogging it up. She couldn't have been more than 7. I finished my eggs, left a 20 on the table. The waitress would still count the silverware after I left. They always do. I stood to go. That's when I saw her hands. She was pressing them against the window, not waving, just trying to pull warmth from the glass. Her fingers were red and stiff. I stopped at the door. The father came back inside. He knelt beside her booth and whispered something. She nodded. He kissed her forehead and went back out to the bike. He didn't order her food, didn't ask for help. Pride, maybe, or fear. I know that look. I walked outside. The cold hit me hard. The man didn't look up when I approached. He was crouched by the engine, hands shaking too much to hold the wrench steady. "Throttle cable?" I asked. He flinched, looked at my vest. His jaw tightened. "I got it," he said. I nodded, stepped back. But I didn't leave. He tried the ignition twice. Nothing. He slammed his palm against the tank and stood up fast, breathing hard. His eyes were wet. "How far you going?" I asked. "Not your business." "Fair enough." I took off my coat. Heavy leather, lined with shearling. I've had it 15 years. It's kept me alive through winters that killed better men. I held it out. For the kid. He stared at it. Then at me. "I don't need charity." Not charity. Just cold. His hands were still shaking. He looked back through the window at his daughter. She was drawing something in the fog on the glass. A heart, maybe. He took the coat. Didn't say thank you. Just took it inside and wrapped it around her shoulders. It swallowed her whole. She pulled it tight and smiled for the first time. He came back out. "Throttle cable snapped," I said. "I got a spare in my saddlebag. I can't pay you. Didn't ask you to." I pulled the cable from my bag and got to work. My hands went numb fast. The wind kept pushing me off balance. He stood there watching, arms wrapped around himself. Took me 20 minutes. I fired the engine. Caught on the second try. He stared at the bike like he didn't believe it. "You're good," I said. He looked at me for a long time, trying to figure me out, trying to match what he saw with what he expected. "Why?" he finally asked. I didn't answer. He went inside and got his daughter. She was still wearing my coat. He tried to take it off her, but I shook my head. "Keep it." "I can't." "You can." He opened his mouth, closed it. His daughter looked up at me with eyes too old for her face. "Thank you," she whispered. They got on the bike. He wrapped his arms around her and pulled her close. The engine rumbled. They pulled out of the lot and disappeared down the highway. I stood there in the cold. The waitress was watching from the window. She turned away when I looked. I went back to my bike. My spare coat was in the trunk, thinner and older. It didn't fit right anymore. I rode for 3 hours before I couldn't feel my fingers. Pulled into a gas station. Bought coffee I couldn't taste. A man at the counter saw my vest and moved his kid behind him. I didn't blame him. That's the thing about being who I am. You do the right thing and people still see the worst. You give away what keeps you warm and no one asks why you're shaking. I never saw that little girl again. Don't know if the coat helped. Don't know if they made it where they were going. I just know her hands were cold. and I know what it's like when no one stops.